my issue has always been, it seems like we had one party that was all in on fossil fuels and against alternative energy. And then we had another party that was pro alternative energy, but against fossil fuels. And my question has always been, why can't we do both? Why can't we have maximum fossil fuel production and invest everything we can in alternatives? Because I think, you talk to any power company. And by the way, the reason we've reduced our greenhouse gas emissions overwhelmingly is because we've shifted from coal to natural gas, okay, which is a bridge fuel, and it's a short-term solution. So we haven't really done that much. In fact, the whole world, frankly, hasn't done squat to reduce our greenhouse emissions. So, but that's another issue. But that's where Biden, I give him credit. He said, let's go full speed in both areas. Let's invest a record amount in alternative fuels, which he did through the Inflation Reduction Act. But let's also drill, baby, drill. And so when he left office, we were producing a record amount of oil. We were producing a record amount of natural gas. And that's the way we should be. And we're now energy independent. We're actually a net exporter of oil. And I think that's great. I've never been against fossil fuels. I think we need to make the transition. What is unhelpful is many people, it seems like you and Trump himself, won't acknowledge that human activity is contributing. Now, climate alarmists have hurt their cause because they've said, oh, if we don't do anything by 2000, we're toast. If we don't do anything by 2020, it's Armageddon, right? And that hasn't happened. So believe me, I think a lot of the environmentalists have been their own worst enemy as someone who's a pragmatist. But I do think we're on the right track. And I'm just hoping, again, when you look at the Trump administration's first term, they gutted wetlands protection. They said, pollute all you want in terms of taking mercury regulations off of power plants. It was just terrible. And he even had a bunch of oil company executives in during the campaign and said, hey, give me $1 billion and I'll do your bidding. Just like for $400 million, he flip-flopped on TikTok. So he's very transactional. So what worries me, again, is that if there's enough money, and the fossil fuel industry still has a lot more money, that we could be in for a rough 4 years.
But to your question, in terms of balancing out oil, natural gas, and reliable, let's say, alternatives, I don't think Republicans would be opposed to that as long as they're reliable, abundant, and secure. And a big thing that we advocate for at my center is nuclear energy. I also am a fan of geothermal where appropriate.
Totally agree. We should be getting a third of our power from nuclear.
Yeah. And I think that's a great middle ground for both sides.
I'm with you on that for sure. And I think that's where the environmentalists and a lot of liberals, I really had a problem because they're thinking of, and first of all, by the way, we've never had anyone die in a nuclear accident in this country. Or maybe a 3 Mile Island, one person died. I can't remember, but it's been incredibly safe. And the new generation of reactors is safer than ever. You don't have the nuclear waste issues, all this stuff. And so this is one area where we need to get off our butts because it should be a much bigger part of our future. What say you, Carrie?
Well, I think I would disagree with you that Republicans have not been all of the above.
Of course you would.
I think they are all of the above. I really do.
I remember I asked you to give me one time when you criticized the Trump administration. You said January 6th. I'm like, oh, congratulations. You have to go all the way back to January 6th to think of a time that you criticized Donald Trump. So forgive me for taking those words with a little jest. But go ahead.
Well, coming back to now, I think the